what happened at the opening round of the FIM Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of Patagonia-Argentina. MX2 Race 1, the grid was a little bit slippery after overnight rain, but it did not stop Lucas Kuhnen from grabbing the foxhole shot. However, he then collided with Simon Langenfelder going into turn 2, and that caused a whole lot of problems for some of the riders. One of the riders in there was Kevin Horgmo. He picked himself up to eventually come home in 9th place, but up front it was the two Yamahas of Jorgo Geerts and Thibaut Beniston. But the lead changed hands on lap 3 when the Frenchman went around the outside of his teammate. Just behind them, Kai de Wolf on the Nissan Husqvarna. He thought he'd found a way past Jorgo Geerts on the Monster Energy Yamaha, but the Belgian dug in and fought back and regained that 2nd place. Just as he thought he was pulling away, Beniston then ran into the tail ender. That also took out Kai de Wolf. Jorgo Geerts then was let off the hook momentarily. Kai de Wolf started his fight back through to an eventual 6th place. But not before he had more drama as he got onto the rear wheel of his teammate, Roman de Moosdijk, challenging for 3rd. The Dutchman fell again. Final lap. Halfway around the final lap, Thibaut Beniston had caught and closed up on Jorgo Geerts, and as he challenged for the lead, threw away his Yamaha motorcycle. He did not lose any time. Andrea Adamo had got himself into 4th with about, well, 3rd with about 4 laps to go, but it was Jorgo Geerts who took the race 1 victory from Beniston and Adamo. MX2 Race 2, a little bit drier behind the gate this time around, and it was Kevin Horgmo on the F&H Kawasaki who grabbed the foxhole shot, his 1st of the season. Behind him and alongside him going through turn 2, Jorgo Geerts, who did not need too much time to find his way past the Norwegian and into the lead. Rick Elzinga was 3rd at that moment in time, but then Liam Everts had to come together with Kai de Wolf. Those two were fighting over 5th position. Kai de Wolf stayed up, but Liam Everts not so fortunate. He would eventually come home in 13th place. The battle for 2nd position changed hands though when Horgmo found his way past Elzinga on lap 3. And charging through the field, Andrea Adamo got the better of Simon Langenfelder to move into 5th place. Mikkel Harup, who missed race 1 due to a technical issue, as well as the qualifying race as well. This was his 1st race of the day. Thibaut Beniston fell from 4th place. He eventually came home in 8th. Mikkel Harup came home in 6th. But it was once again a victory for Jorgo Geerts on the Monster Energy Yamaha. Kevin Horgmo came home 2nd for F&H Kawasaki. Adamo 3rd for Red Bull KTM ahead of Elzinga and Simon Langenfelder. That victory meant that Jorgo Geerts was victorious in the Grand Prix. Adamo was 2nd, Beniston 3rd. And when you add the qualifying points to the championship, Jorgo Geerts now on 60 points, Adamo 2nd, Beniston 3rd, just as it was for the overall classification today. Langenfelder and Horgmo rounded out the top 5, but a fantastic start to the season for Jorgo Geerts, Andrea Adamo and Thibaut Beniston. But the championship leaders red plate going to the Belgian, and it was a 1st-time victory in Argentina for a Belgian. Congratulations, Jorgo Geerts.
No, for sure it was a perfect day for me. 2 whole shots and 2 moto wins, so I'm really happy with that for sure. After all the small issues the last weeks, yeah, it was really a surprise for me, but I'm really happy with the speed and how I'm feeling.
MXGP Race 1, 1 or 2 riders spinning up on the gate, but it was Jorge Prado, who else had grabbed the 1st foxhole shot of the 2023 season. Alongside him, through the 1st couple of corners, Roman Fevre and Ruben Fernandez, but it was Fernandez who struck early with a twofer, passing 2 riders in one go, taking over the lead. Jeremy Seewer, who survived a big crash in qualifying, wasn't so lucky. 1st lap, he was in a collision with Brian Bogers and Calvin Verlandren. He would have another fall later on and finish in 17th in the race, but all eyes on the battle up front. Jorge Prado thought he got the better of Ruben Fernandez, but he had to work a little harder This was what, probably his second or third attempt to find his way through on lap 6. Maxime Renault fighting through the traffic, eventually got into third with that pass on Romain Febvre. But then he had this mistake through the notorious waves. The Yamaha man was sent crashing to the ground. He picked himself up and would eventually come home in third place after a late charge. Once again, saw him pass Jeffrey Hurlings. Ruben Fernandez fell from second as well, which also helped Renault to get towards that third place. But all eyes on Jorge Prado, his 64th career victory. He won the first race of the season from Romain Febvre, Maxime Renault, Hurlings and Ruben Fernandez. MXGP Race 2. This time it was Glenn Koldenoff with his first foxhole shot of the campaign, but he couldn't hold it together. He drifted wide, bounced off the bank, and pretty quickly through the next couple of corners was shuffled back to around 6th or 7th place. But once again, Ruben Fernandez, a good start and didn't waste any time finding his way into the lead. He was alongside Paul Jonas over the first couple of jumps. And Jonas on the standing construct Honda was pushed back into second. Jeffrey Hurlings was in about 5th position at this time, but by halfway round the lap, he'd gone up the inside of Maxime Renault to move into third. A couple of laps later, he almost repeated the move to go around the outside of Jonas to move into second place. But it was still Fernandez who led. Koldenoff was on a charge. He got up the inside of Mattia Guadagnini as he was carving his way towards the top 6. And Jeremy Seewer also putting in a bit of a shift as he found his way around the outside of Prado to move into 4th position, and then Jonas just after the halfway point to move into the 3rd, much to the delight of the home fans. But Koldenoff not so fortunate. He fell from 6th. He would eventually come home in 14th with a handful of laps to go. And with 3 to go, Romain Febvre made this move around the outside of Prado to take over 5th, which altered the complexity of the podium, because up until that point, he was 2nd overall. He was pushed down to 3rd. But it was a first ever race win and Grand Prix victory for Ruben Fernandez with Team HRC. He was victorious in the 2nd race. Fernandez, Hurlings, Prado, your overall podium after the 2 races, with Febvre and Jonas rounding out the top 5. And with the qualifying points added in, it's Prado, though, who leaves here with the championship leaders red plate from Fernandez and Febvre. Hurlings just missing out in 4th and Renault 5th. But what a day, what a weekend for Ruben Fernandez. A race win and an overall Grand Prix victory, but it's Jorge Prado, the overall Grand Prix winner. World Championship leader.
You know, I was riding first moto, 2nd position on a comfortable place, but I had a mistake 5 minutes to go and I had a crash, so I finished 5. And then now I just lead the world moto from the beginning to the end. You know, it's the first time that this happened to me, to be leading a GP, and you know, I was a little bit nervous, especially as well at the end. But you know, somehow I make it happen. I just focus on making my pace, and you know, I made it to the finish line with a comfortable gap, so that was good.